From WDWNT, the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is Park Center. A little bit of a different intro music tonight. We're not doing your typical Park Center episode tonight. This is Park Center Goes to the Movies, because we have not ever on Park Center covered any movie related content, and boy howdy is there a lot of it that we haven't touched. So going around, let's introduce everybody here. We've got Nathan.
Greetings from the Sunshine State.
Allison.
Hey everyone.
Pete.
Sivaco from New York City. What's going on?
And Matthew.
Jingle bell, jingle bam. Also from outside New York City, from Long Island.
Nice. So since we've got an hour to fill tonight, there's going to be less emphasis on buzzers, time, things like that. We're going to be going at a little bit more of a leisurely pace through things. Let's go ahead and start off with the first couple of topics. I kind of lump these together. We've got, let me see, can I cut over to that? There we go. Is that mirrored for you folks, or can you read that correctly?
Yes. Oh, I can read it correctly.
Okay, it looks silly to me. So okay, we've got some new trailers and posters that were released relatively recently for the live action Dumbo remake that's coming. I think this seems a little silly. Is anybody here excited for Dumbo? Does anybody think that this is going to be like the next great thing?
I do, kind of. So okay. I'm not that excited about a lot of remakes, but I can't even get through like the teaser on this one without like getting all verklempt. So I actually think it's going to be beautiful, and the story is just so touching. And I think when the Tim Burton style mixed with a 1920s time period, it's the perfect aesthetic for this kind of film. So I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm keen on Michael Keaton looking the way he does in this film, and sort of playing like a Circus du Soleil, as it were. The ringmaster, the evil ringmaster. I don't know. Dumbo is a sort of, they're gonna have to add a lot because it's sort of a weird film. It's old. It's got some issues in pacing and things of that nature. And I used to watch it a lot as a kid. I don't think I've thought about it though in a very long time personally. I don't think this is either going to be a major success or not a success at all, and I'm not 100% sure where it's going to lie.
Yeah. Well, thank you for picking a side.
Yeah, well,
I actually think for all the reasons you listed, it will be a success. Is that I don't think anyone's actually gone back and watched Dumbo in a very long time. Maybe if you have very small children and you're going deep into the classics, you're going Dumbo. But even myself, I haven't seen Dumbo in probably 20 years. And I think it gives them all the freedom in the world. I mean, we talk about creative freedom in the classics that we're seeing now with Lion King and Aladdin, Mulan, that are being remade live. This has, I think, even more freedom. I think this is going to be, like, we hear the rave reviews for Mary Poppins. It's been so long. They could do what they want, and that was coming off a major, one of the best films ever made by Disney. This has been just as long. This has been a long time coming. It's got a star-studded cast. I don't think they can do wrong here. I mean, Keaton, when he was the Birdman, he was playing crazy, and now he's a ringmaster in Dumbo. Like, this is a part built for him. You got Colin Farrell, Michael Keaton, Danny DeVito, Eva Green. It just looks like it's going to kill it. I think it's going to be a fun adventure. And to be honest, I think this will not be the first Dumbo. I think you will see a Dumbo sequel after this, because it's going to be a brand new story, because so many people don't know about that original that hasn't come out in many, many years.
I think Chi-Town Court in the chat makes a very good point. She mentions that it seems like Burton might be romanticizing the circus, and they are going to have to walk a very fine line doing a 1920s circus sort of thing and being like, no, we're the circus. I promise you there's gonna be some line about like, no, we're the circus that treats the animals right, or like the protagonists at least will be the ones who are
honestly,
like,
I mean, This is getting out of control. I mean, look. First of all, circuses can be celebrated. Look at The Greatest Showman. It was one of the best movies that came out last year, in my opinion.
And they may capitalize on
it. Granted, we're not talking about animals and brutality and yada yada yada, but I mean,
I'm saying that there's no way to ignore the fact that it's coming from an animal's perspective. It's the titular character. So because of that, they are running up against certain things they will have to address, and I think they'll address it in the idea that Colin Farrell's character and his children are like against much of it, and against sort of the circus system as it is at the time.
But they're also keeping it factual to the time period that then you really don't have to address it too much.
They elephants flying. I don't think it's
Disney Magic. We won't have to talk about it. We won't have to see it.
But the whole movie, they do talk about it. That's why, like, the mother is caged in the tiny little, in her tiny little cage with the mad elephant sign. And then as we were watching the trailer on silent, and I saw Dumbo walking into the arena with the clown makeup on, and he's tripping over his ears, I started to get teary-eyed, and I was like, oh God, I can't say anything. And it was on mute. So they don't even have to.
It reminded me of my 3rd grade first day of school.
Oh gosh, face paint and everything.
But to be fair, no, let's address the elephant in the room. This is like an actual thing that happened. We can't go back in time. Yes, it's a whole new era, and I'm all for yada yada yada, all the good stuff. But I mean, if you go to Disneyland and Disney World, the little mouse on top of Dumbo has a magic wand. If you go to Disneyland, he is still holding a whip. On top of the ride of Dumbo, he is holding a whip. That is what happened in that era and at that time, and that is how you got the animals to perform. So, like, it's not like, let's see what happens. Like, it's still go to Disneyland tomorrow. The mouse is still holding a whip on Dumbo.
Yeah, but that's not a reason. That's. I mean, yeah, it's that way, but it doesn't mean it's a good, reason. I don't think Burton. I think Burton is.
I think it's an amazing movie. I
don't think they're gonna like. I don't know. I don't think they will romanticize the abuse element.
You won't see it. I think they're going to bring it up at all?
I do think they'll bring it up, yes.
The plot synopsis does say that there are darker elements behind the inviting veneer of the circus. I don't think this is going to romanticize it at all. If anything, it may demonize it.
I think we'll probably see Michael Keaton's character as some sort of wonder Walt Disney-esque circus guy, and then we find out later on that like how he actually does everything is even worse, and that's why he's the the industry version of the art form, and so he's willing to do things that Danny DeVito probably isn't. We'll see. I think it's going to be interesting. If it is anything like Big Fish, he's got Burton has a real good classic on his hands because that movie's excellent. He has a mixed track record, in my personal opinion, with Disney, with Alice in Wonderland and things like that. So I don't know. It could go either way.
Fair. The part 2 of this, because we've kind of got a series of live action remakes here.
You think?
Yeah. It's a trend. We really can't have this show without addressing this. I could have started off with an elephant in the room pun and stopped Pete. The next one on the docket is Aladdin.
Well, you kind of let the genie out of the bottle there.
No.
Well played.
Me out of a job here.
I love it.
So we don't know too terribly much about this. We don't have a trailer or anything yet. We have a
teaser.
It's coming out May 20. Oh, we have a teaser?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there is a teaser.
Oh shoot,
It was the day after the poster.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me see if I can pull that up really quickly.
It should be at the tag at the bottom.
There's very little. I mean, there's a little bit in the trailer, but it's not.
Yeah,
there's the tag.
They kept it very intentionally vague.
Here we go. Okay, just something to look at while we're discussing this. There we are. Thank you for that. This seems really cool, and I'm honestly incredibly excited for Will Smith as the genie. The fresh genie of Bel-Air, if you will. I think that is a brilliant casting decision, and possibly something that might save this movie from what I think is going to be people being sick of the live action remakes.
Did you hear what happened with that?
No, what happened?
They actually wanted Will Smith, and they threw a number at him, and he was like, "No, I won't do it for that number." So they said, "Okay, we'll accept other offers." They shopped around, and then Will was like, "You know what? I kind of want to be the genie," and lowered his number just to be a part of this film.
That sounds right.
But I'm a huge Will Smith fan, so
yeah. I mean,
it will be nice to see him turn back to comedy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If they're going in that direction, I don't know. You can't really tell from the remake, from the teaser.
Honestly, I don't think I think when I found out they were redoing this without obviously without Robin Williams, who is like my own personal like hero. I love Robin Williams more than anything else in the whole world. On from his characters and from his personal life, he's amazing. But I think that Will Smith will do this probably more justice than anybody else. He has that energy. He has that excitement. He has that let's go get it. Like, you did wrong or you did right. Let's pop at it. Like, he will do this right. I'm excited. I was very afraid for this movie when Will Smith opted out. Now he's back in, and I like it a lot. I'm excited. We'll see what happens. Plus, Aladdin is one of my favorites. It was my childhood movie. I mean, there was like Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin were like my top two of my childhood. I remember I only went to Disney once as a child when I was 7. And that was when the Aladdin parade was at Hollywood Studios, where you saw the spitting camels and the genie came down with the float and the whole nine. So Aladdin's a big deal because Aladdin, to me, identifies Walt Disney World. That was my only trip as a child to Walt Disney World was during that Aladdin phase. So I don't know. I'm excited. I think they're going to do a really good job. I'm excited that Will Smith's back in.
I hope so.
I am too, and it's a completely different character from the original Genie, but also from the Broadway version. I don't know if any of you saw Aladdin on Broadway, but Englehart won the Tony for portraying the Genie, which was a completely different take from the original.
That was a New York City take, and he was amazing.
Yes, he was amazing. If people don't know theater that well, he's also on like 2 episodes of Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt as Titus Burgess's like rival.
I believe he's also in Hamilton now.
Yes, that's right.
He is. Who's he playing Hamilton?
Lafayette.
Ooh.
Yeah, really hard role.
I think Thomas Jefferson in the second act.
Right.
I have not seen him.
He's an over-the-top, super eccentric genie on Broadway. Like, super over-the-top.
I was going to say amazing. He personifies extra.
Yeah. I was second row, like, he was spitting on me, and I loved it. It was so amazing. He was so good. He was amazing.
So, obviously, now Will Smith is, like, totally not... He's not... No one would be like, oh, he's an extra New York City over-the-top theatrical guy. But he's also not... anything like the original movies. So it's kind of I think it's safest when they go completely different direction with the casting, with something that iconic. You can't replicate it.
I'm trying to put my thoughts into words and it's failing me, but what I'm finding is that the trailer between this and Dumbo, they're just cashing in on nostalgia, and it's like all it's doing is reminding me how great the originals are, and I don't know, maybe it's sort of killing my interest in these films. I'm having that struggle to find myself excited for these.
Yeah, I think of all of these, I think Aladdin is the one I'm most excited about in the sense of a great adventure type film, and I think it has that potential for sure. I'm always there's several of these films coming out now that I think in many ways are trying to right some wrongs done by the animated ones, or maybe things that were less culturally sensitive. I mean, Aladdin itself was changed in post-production. Actually, it was changed after release with some lyrics because it was so sort of kind of brutal about Arabian culture. I think that there is this desire from Disney looking at an international marketplace to sort of say like, all right, let's bring these people in. Let's bring the right sort of actors in. It seems like they've done that here with the majority of the people. They've created a couple new characters. I can't remember the gentleman's name. He plays sort of the dumb boyfriend in Date Night, or not Game Night. If you saw Game Night, with Jason Bateman, he's playing a prince. He's like a white blonde haired dude. So I don't know where he's coming from. Maybe Arendelle, but
no time.
We'll see how that sort of extra elements sort of work, but this has the potential of being a lot of fun, and I'm sad that Tim Curry is far too old to play a live action Jafar. So
I want to play this from just Disney's perspective too. Like, that's a great opinion, but also this is a no lose for Disney, and I hate all the live action remixes. I wish there was only one here and one there, but whether you love it or hate it, let's just say one comes out that's so bad, everyone will go back and want to rewatch the original, and then everyone's talking about the original, where they're doubling down on either this is going to be a new killer, we're making our money here, or everyone loves the original so much, it's still our IP. They love the original so much. Let's pretend that never happened. Well,
they'll make money either way because we won't know if it's good until we go see it.
We're saying so. Like, they're putting money in. They're not going to lose on these films. I wish it wasn't so much so fast. I wish there was other stuff to break it up, and there is.
I think Bob Iger, 1 year.
He learned from this. He learned from this in Star Wars. He said, like, it was too much too fast. Look at Solo. They were releasing films every 5 months. It was too much. So, like, I think that hopefully even Disney understands that with these live action, like taking my nieces and nephews to these films, if it's once every 2 months, it's not as exciting as once every, say, twice a year.
Yeah. And I think this is the last wave. There's really not that much left.
Well, there's the Lady and the Tramp remake coming to Disney Plus.
Service. Yeah. But that is why it's going to Disney Plus, is because it's the Lady and the Tramp. I'm not saying people don't love Lady and the Tramp, but the high, my generation's movies, right? Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Mulan, and
it's hunting season in New York. They're not letting anyone go near Bambi set upstate New York.
Yeah. Right. And that's sort of the thing. Like, they're going to run out of these films that are really going to attract an audience. And I'm not saying they won't do it's possible they'll do a Bambi. It's possible they'll do a Snow White before this whole thing's over with. Honestly. But, it can only go so far. And you're right, Pete. Like, this works for them no matter really what. If people don't like it, then people will watch the original, and that's fine. It's creatively bankrupt, but beyond that, it's I try to think of these as less being actual feature films and being basically a new variation, much like the Broadway productions before them. This is just another way of showcasing the story.
I think you're right. I wish they spaced them out. I think it'd be more fun if Disney had a killer every 6 months than another release every 3 months of something.
Yeah, I think that's a good call.
Moving to part 3 of the live action remakes.
Oh yeah, but it's not live action.
Is it though?
It's not. These aren't real animals. These are computer animated. It's animation, just a different kind of animation.
Would you call Avatar live action?
Yes, because there's live action.
There are live action characters. There are human characters.
I met the guys at Pandora. They're totally real.
In theory, there was more live action in the dinosaur film, because all the settings were live action and then the creatures were added in. And I don't know, maybe they went out and did some of that. I doubt it though, because they didn't really do any of that for the Jungle Book, and it's the same director. So, my guess is this was all done in zeros and ones. So it's very, very pretty. But
it really is. Like, I'm surprised they can do it that well if it's entirely in post.
It feels the thing is if they don't do most of it in post, it would look disjointed. So,
I mean, I'll give it this. I think it's motion capture, which is sort of a blending of live action and animation.
Yeah.
But, to me, this is frankly, of the 3 remakes, this may be the laziest one. And I know that sounds terrible. It's going viral. But you're not doing anything different. Or at least they're not showing us anything different.
No, that's the whole point.
The trailer was literally just showing us scenes from the movie we had already seen.
Give away storyline this early. They're like, all right, look at Mary Poppins. Now, at this point, I haven't seen it. I've seen 45 trailers. I almost know the entire movie. I don't have to go see it, but I know it. I'm going to love it. I'm going to cry.
Man, I'm not sure. I don't know if you know that much.
No, there's a lot. I've seen way too much. I watched the whole red carpet. I've watched.
Yeah, that's a bad. That sounds like your problem.
That's a me problem. Really obsessed with Mary Poppins. But anyway, Lion King, that was meant to do what I think it did. It gave me chills. It literally was like this. They're trying. They're making an effort. It's so good, and the details are so close. I'm gonna want to be into this. I know they're gonna mix it up. It's not gonna be like a everyone's putting the animation up against Favreau's animation side by side, and it looks amazing. But the whole film will not be like that. This was meant to do that because now the whole world is talking about it. And it gave, if you didn't get chills, then you know what? You're not a human being. I'm sorry. You were born in a weird time. Or I'm so sorry you're Russian. Welcome to America. We're so happy to have you.
Excuse me. I was the Lion King generation. That was probably the first movie I saw.
You didn't get chills when you watched that trailer.
Only when I heard the music, but it was literally the music from the first film. I can watch the original.
Okay, so when you hear the music from the original film, do you get chills on its own, or when you're watching that trailer? Every time?
But
well, then put more heat on in your apartment. That trailer... That trailer was so good, it gave me chills. Like, I wanted to take a step back and watch it again because maybe something was wrong.
It frustrated me.
It was fine. My thing is like I said before, this is a new cast with a different production. Like
it got a fantastic cast.
It very much has a fantastic cast, and I think that's very interesting. But I've seen the sets before, and I know the music already, and so it will have to be the performances, the voice performances of these actors that stand out. So.
But we haven't seen the sets before because I understand
in the trailer alone, of course. I don't know
the same, but. Like
right, of course,
it's so much effort to make it match like that, but in a completely different style. But that's what's remarkable about it. That, and then they have like the greatest cast ever because I think John Oliver as Zazu is incredibly
that's brilliant.
Yeah, this whole thing reminds me of the I'm gonna get the year wrong, but it was the Lars von Trier's remake of Psycho, which had Vince Vaughn as Norman Bates, which was a scene for scene, shot for shot remake. And I'm not saying that's what this is going to be. I don't think it's going to be a scene for scene, shot for shot remake.
I would hope
not.
Guys, let's be honest. There's no JTT, and he was a handsome devil back in my teenage years. So
I had photos of him in my bedroom.
Yeah.
So the issue,
he is not a part of this cast.
All right.
I hope you're watching. I think he's just a fan. I think he's in the chat right now.
Well, the issue there, of course, is that I wonder if they don't stray far enough, Allison, then it won't be interesting very much. I think that's the key, is to make it interesting, they will have to do some narrative things that are unique to that plot. And, you know, Favreau has done this. It's not nothing new for him. He did it with Jungle Book, which did fairly well standing up on its own. So I have faith, I guess, in the creative team. They of course are hiring the best in the business for all of these movies. I mean, Guy Ritchie is doing Aladdin, and it's a script by John August, who is he's a standard kind of screenwriter. He's very lauded for his work. So yeah, I think these all have potential of being very good. It's just
they got three very distinctive directors with very distinctive styles, which I think may help them.
If they allow them to mess with those
I heard that Nala attacks Jay-Z in an elevator and then is shipped off to the Dumbo camp. I heard, just a rumor.
And Diago's somewhere around there.
That's a good point. Insider got my director wrong. Sorry, I am tired. I've been up far too long doing marathon. It is Gus Van Sant, not Lars von Trier. I'm getting my fancy 3 titled directors mixed up. So Lars von Trier's Psycho would have been way worse. Way darker.
We can all agree never to name drop a 3-name director again. Right?
Yeah, at least you didn't say Guillermo del Toro.
Yes, I was sure I wasn't going to do.
Entirely different movie.
Yeah, I'd be more interested probably.
Fair.
If that was the case.
Moving on to live action remake number 4. Nobody knows what this could be.
I know.
Well, yeah, I know because you gave us the rundown, but
technically a live action.
That's not it. Well, it is
Mary
live
popping bottles.
It's
not a
live
remake,
action,
though.
and it's a remake.
It's a sequel.
It's actually a remake of
The sequel.
Robin.
It's a sequel, Matthew. Simmer down. And it's getting rave reviews.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm willing to get it. I want this to succeed. Because
me too.
I love Mary Poppins. And it looks like they've actually put the effort in. It looks like they really...
Emily? Okay, I'll tell him. Emily's really excited that you wanted to succeed, Matthew.
Who's Emily?
Emily Blunt.
Oh, I see.
Tell Miss Blunt I wish her well.
And
tell Mr. Krasinski I say hi.
The biggest movie of December of this year, I think, of all time.
I wanted to succeed. I love that.
Yes.
Not of all time.
Yes.
Mary Poppins was Walt's crowning achievement.
Have you read any of the reviews? No one said anything negative. Even people who hate their lives are saying, like, it was
First of all, it's very early. Second of all, it won't be the biggest opening of all time.
Not opening. It will be the biggest December.
No, there's too many stars.
Really? You think it's going to outdo, like, Force Awakens?
Yeah, I don't
I think it has that much potential. I think that people will literally...
It's less international appeal than you think it has.
I think people will see it. This is North America only, because I'm not... Hey,
we're putting a lot of caveats all of a sudden in this, Pete.
I don't know all the international viewers because we're not best friends yet, so hit me up. But in North America, I think this will be the biggest, because every single reviewer is like, we went to go see it. I've talked to reviewers who have seen it 10 times, and they want to go back and see it again. People are going to take other people to see this. Apparently, this is going to be the movie of the holidays where you leave, grab family members, come back and see it again, which
I don't disagree with that. I think that this has the potential of beating out my number one movie of the year, but we'll see.
The Muppets? What was your number one movie of the year?
Paddington 2. So
solid.
That was an excellent movie.
Yeah, Paddington 2 gave me Mary Poppins-esque chills because it has this quaint traditions to it, and I think it's very possible that it looks like Pete's disappeared.
Sorry about that.
It looks like this has the potential. I highly respect. I'm most concerned about the songs, and the composers have been very honest about their own terrifying nervousness about taking on the project. Not it's very hollowed ground, and I think they know it, and I think that they are so aware. And I feel like there's a lot of people like, if they take on some sort of project that is beloved, they're like, oh yeah, I liked that movie too, but you don't really you feel it, but it's sort of what they would have to say anyway. Every interview I have seen with the creative team here has been like, I can't mess this up. It's my entire career if I mess it up. And I think because of that, really, I had the opportunity to talk to Jeff Curdy, who wrote the new book, Practically Poppins in Every Way. And he was fortunate enough to go on the set. He's great friends with the Sherman brothers. And he said that, there was a vibe on set that was very much that success was not, or failure was not an option. It had to be tonally correct. And I really appreciate that level of caring. I think they realize that this is probably Mary Poppins is the greatest live action film Disney has ever made.
I think it's honestly Walt's crowning achievement.
Yeah, when it comes to live action,
Walt Disney on the map, maybe there wouldn't be a Walt Disney without Mary Poppins.
I mean, that came well into his tenure. It was one of the last things that he was a part of.
Everything on the
it was like it took everything he had learned in a lifetime in entertainment
and animation.
And put it all animation, animatronics, the theme parks sort of made their way into this. It was like Walt Disney's master thesis.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah, in many ways. And yeah, that's I of all of these, I'm less cynical about this because I think that they are really stepping out on a ledge to do this. Every single person involved, because you really don't want to be a part of the Mary Poppins movie that's not any good.
Yeah.
So it looks like we have some people in the chat who have seen it and have said that it's the most Disney movie they've seen in a decade, and I hope that's true. I really do.
Everyone has said
that. If I open my heart too much going in, then I risk it being broken.
All right, listen,
Allison, we are too chatty. Allison,
it's gonna be an okay movie, but in real life, you're gonna cry your eyes out. It's gonna be so good.
Here's a crazy idea: if it is as good as Pete is expecting, Lin-Manuel is one award away from an EGOT.
Yeah.
Nobody expects it to come from a Best Supporting Actor role.
No. Who cares about Lin-Manuel Miranda? This is Emily
Whoa,
Blunt.
whoa.
Listen, I love Lin-Manuel Miranda. I'm a New Yorker. He's the best.
We
I
were
love
talking
him. I
about
hang out
Hallowed
with him.
Ground
We
earlier.
drank coquitos together. We had a good time. He's a good man. I love the guy. Yeah, we have rap battles together. I love him. But this is Emily Blunt's film.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean she can't get it. I would be shocked if she would be up for any awards for it. It's just
she's already been. I'm a gambler, so I gamble for a living. She's already the favorite for Best Actress.
No, I really don't think it's possible.
You want to look it up?
No, I'm saying no. I don't care. Julia Andrews, like she was nominated already for the role. It's very hard to get out of that shadow.
So Julia Andrews was offered a cameo in the film.
Yeah, I know, and she said no because it wanted to be Emily Blunt's film. That does not mean she gets an award. But
she's the favorite, though. I'm just saying who the favorite is. I mean, we're waiting. Who else would be Best Actress at this point? Let's have some fun.
I mean, there's been a lot of movies coming out. Let's
have some fun here. Let's have some fun.
Go down the list off the top of my head.
I'm going to call this discussion here.
Thanks. I'm not sure it's a discussion.
Like this is now turned into the Pete v. Nathan show, which honestly I would pay good money to see.
That would be one of us.
I've already got the popcorn. For the episode, I only do a bucket of popcorn as big as my head.
Give me some of that.
I only do this because I respect Nathan more than most, and Nathan is a dear friend, and I love hanging out with Nathan. That's why I like to have these discussions. But anyway, let's move on.
Moving forward to another live action endeavor. Pirates of the Caribbean. We're not going to have Johnny Depp anymore.
That's great. I have no issue with this.
Live reaction of him discovering this news right there. Johnny Depp, according to the Daily Mail, has been dropped from the Pirates of the Caribbean film franchise as Disney Studios plans a major reboot of the entire thing. He's been dogged by personal dramas over the past 4 years. Saw his last outing as Sparrow in Dead Man's Tell No Tales, which became the lowest performing movie of the films. So he is distinctly on the way out at this point.
Not to mention failed to bring any heat to the box office for Crimes of Griffin Doofen, whatever it's called. So,
gosh. Yeah, the Harry Potter franchise ended a while ago. Why are we still making movies?
Because it can still make money.
Anyways, that's a separate conversation. Alvin, do you have thoughts? For crying out loud, this man just yelling. It's so annoying. Please.
I have the same question about why the Pirates franchise is continuing.
Yeah,
so,
that's my question.
Why can't it just be okay? We've made twice as many movies as we should have, if not 4 times as many as they should have. Mm-hmm. Why do we have to announce we're not going to use Johnny Depp anymore? Why can't the announcement be we're just done? We're putting it to bed.
Mm-hmm. I mean, here's the thing. I hear that and I understand that, and then I think about Christina Hendricks playing the redhead in a series of films, and I'm there. Like, it's interesting again. There are ways. It is such a large universe. There are ways, and sadly, Captain Jack became a cartoon character after the first film, like an absolute goof 'em up, Mr. Magoo, and it ruined his sort of. You thought he would kill people, and he did kill people more in the first film, and by the last one, he's just stumbling around,
like a mashup of Han Solo and Jar Jar Binks, which I don't think anyone wants to see.
He made the films. Without him, there is no franchise.
Yeah,
sure, of course, and then it's also his fault for ruining them. So,
No, I think it's Disney's fault for not realizing after a solid trilogy to finally turn around and say, "Okay, we've made 3. That's enough."
Agreed. That's a great point.
I think
we made 3, and that's enough.
Yeah.
King of transitions.
King of transitions.
The king is in the house.
Toy Story 4. Why are we doing this?
Okay.
Please.
Now I think I'm gonna shock Pete right now. I was at the D20. I was at the 2015 D23 Expo at the animation panel where they revealed the first details about this movie, and I said, "Okay, if they're gonna do a 4th movie, this is how you do it." I actually believe this will do well.
I actually will believe you, and I am on board. I have read and listened to what Tom Hanks and Tim Allen have said after reading the script, and when they both have sobbed in the last scene, they said this is the way this should end. And when they couldn't, even Tim Allen couldn't read his lines in the last scene of the last movie, the fourth. That to me says this is worth it. When you have these same characters and you have, amazing, unbelievable actors like Tim Allen and Tom Hanks saying they were tearing up and having trouble reading the lines for the last scene. That's how you know it's well written. That's how you know it's going to be a great film. I was very nervous about this. Once I read that, I said, all right, I'm in. I'm 100% in. Let's see what happens.
I think it's a massive gamble, and
same old Nathan.
It is, and it had a really wrought production history, including Rashida Jones being brought on to write the script and then leaving, and all the John Lasseter stuff. And I don't think it's gonna be The Good Dinosaur. I think that they're gonna make something that is great. I just don't know if it's going to meet. It's a really high bar, gang. Like it's literally the most
that solid third ending.
Well, it is literally probably the most solid trilogy of all time.
Yeah, I could see that.
Wow, that's a bold statement from Nathan.
It is. There's not a weak chapter. There's not a weak chapter involved, and I think that when you have a framework that way, you really risk a lot by adding a fourth. It can sometimes taint the road for the rest of them. So
really bold coming from you, who that's your entire life.
Yeah, no, I've thought about it. So yeah, I think that's gonna be fun, but we'll just see. I'm hesitant about these things because they're toying with my childhood in every single way possible because they think they can milk a dollar out of me. And yeah, they're right. They're gonna milk a dollar out of me. And I don't necessarily love that they have me on a chain like this. But my interest is piqued, and hopefully they do well.
And we're gonna finish things off tonight with something that I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think everybody here is going to universally not like this idea. Video, please cooperate. Thank you.
I mean, we can go over too, right? There's an overflow hour, so.
Yeah, we've got an entire extra hour to talk and discuss whatever.
Thank God, I have a 60-minute monologue I've been preparing.
Oh gosh, we get Pete's stand-up hour. Hey!
No, not at all. That's a terrible idea. Unless you're in New York City. Got a lot of
yeah, I'm checking the donations page right now. See?
Yeah, because it's more interesting to watch than this trailer. Like, is anybody here excited for Artemis Fowl? I have no desire to see this other than I really like watching bad movies.
No, I have no opinion. I don't know anything about Artemis Fowl except I got a free copy of the novel once.
I'm a Disney stockholder, so I feel obligated to watch it on video.
I'll give it this. It's not a remake. It's not a sequel. It may be the closest thing Disney has to an original film next year. I mean, besides Penguins, which we have, I don't think we're discussing here tonight, but yay for Disney nature documentaries. But yeah, this one looks like a generic action fantasy sci-fi. Like, I can't figure out what's going on here, but maybe I'm not supposed to.
Nope. I feel like this is Men in Black meets fantasy film meets Harry Potter meets what are we doing?
Does it remind anyone else of that Sorcerer's Apprentice movie they made?
Yeah, I think that's a good equivalency here. Is like, but this is a very popular franchise, and we probably should acknowledge that it's a very popular franchise. Like, not to us, we didn't grow up necessarily with it, but it's popular. But that doesn't mean popular franchises do very well. Series of Fortune Events was a single film before finding its place on Netflix. So
nope, next year it's Disney Plus.
Yeah, so we'll see. I I think it's okay to not have an opinion, and I don't until I know more about it.
What
the
is
cast is really good.
What was the Disney show on Netflix that really killed it? Now it's gone. Everyone loved it. It was a Marvel.
Daredevil.
Maybe Daredevil.
Yeah, Daredevil
got, like rare. It got like everyone loved it. Now it's gone.
I think that's right.
Yeah, and now it's gone. So I mean, I hope that goes to Z Plus. But like, that's just another example of like, wow, they killed it. Now it's like yanked. It's gone. It's done.
Right. So, yeah, Artemis Fowl.
Yeah.
A shrug. 2 shrugs from Roger Ebert. I don't know.
2 shrugs way up.
Yeah.
Big honkin' meh.
Like it feels like they're trying to create this massive hype around this film, from what I've heard, and it just seems like it's not working.
I don't think that's at all. I think they're going to bury this thing at the end. They're burying this at the end of August.
Yeah, I'm with Matt. I don't even remember the name of the movie that came out last year with Oprah and Mindy Kaling.
Wrinkle in Time.
Yeah, Wrinkle in Time.
It's the same exact strategy as A Wrinkle in Time.
But that
feels the same.
That was also this year, but it was such a bump. It makes it feel like it was 2 years ago.
Like to me, that's the same exact strategy. It's like, oh, what Artemis Fowl? Like, I won't even remember the movie title. I'll remember the stars. Yeah, sure.
It's a literal. I mean, it is a adaptation of a children's novel. It falls right into what Disney likes to make. But they're very hit.
Is it just me, or is that end of August, that like first weekend in August, where Disney is putting every movie they're sure isn't going to work? And I think it's only backfired once when Guardians of the Galaxy really took off.
Well, yeah, that's what they call their tax write-offs. We took a loss here, so.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about Disney film though. The next year, they'll be fine.
I actually want them to cut it back. My favorite moment of the year was when Bob Iger said, "We're going to cut back on all the Star Wars releases. Maybe we're going to scale back on the Marvel and release them more timely than we used to. We got a little aggressive." That was my favorite moment of the year.
Thank you. You're flooding the market and ruining it.
Yeah, stop flooding the market. You have amazing things coming out. We get it. You have so much to do. Love it. Simmer down. Simmer down now. Simmer down.
And take a chance. I mean,
yes.
Be adventurous. You are the biggest media company on the planet, and you're telling me, we're a little, making an original film just seems like too much of a risk. You can afford to make that risk. Do you know how much they are going to get all the money on Avengers 4?
Right, but it costs that kind of money to make Avengers 5, and that's the thing is they are investing in other things, and when you're big, you don't take risks because they have gotten success after success by not taking legitimate risks with new
They're
IP.
Cutting back on this stuff. So. Why not?
No, but look at the parks. Look at the parks. They're not putting the time and energy into small projects that they should because they have billions wrapped up in development where there's things that need to be fixed right now in the parks. But they can't do it right now because they have so many billions of dollars wrapped up in the next 3 years.
The issue is Disney's film section is a small puzzle piece inside of a larger infrastructure. So
that drives that infrastructure too.
Right. Well, and exactly. So to create something like Artemis Fowl, they have to go, okay, we can use Artemis Fowl in the parks. We can do this. We can do that. We can create these books. No, but my point is they have thought those things through. They know if something is a success, they know they have to put it in areas and do things with it. And so that's why they don't take risks, because it is not just making a film. It is creating an entire thing to distribute all sorts of media in different ways.
Great point. They're putting Artemis Fowl in the parks like they put A Wrinkle in Time in the parks. They're putting on a billboard in MGM Studios, or I'm sorry, Hollywood Studios. And that's about it. But now they're already prepping. They have Ralph in all the parks right now. They know which films they want in the parks. There's Ralph right now. It's going to be Lion King come next summer. They know what they're doing. They know it's going to not bomb, but they know it's going to not perform well, and they know it's going to kill it. And then they're going to just destroy the market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's accurate. So these are as close as the risks that we're going to get is adaptations of things.
Yeah, putting Wreck-It Ralph in The Void, and Nathan has a great article on that. If you want to go check out WWNT.com, where they put, they had Star Wars there, and now it's Wreck-It Ralph. That was the risk they took on a major motion picture, but they're not doing that for Artemis Fowl or anywhere else. That's a guarantee.
All right, I think that is going to do it for tonight's show. Thank you, folks, for joining us. Let's see here. What do I have to share? Let's pull up the donations page for you folks real quick.
Here we go. Let's go, guys. You got to donate during Park Center, so that way we keep us on.
Yes, please. Like it's a nice little metric to see who donates during how much during what shows, so that we know what to bring back next year and things like that.
Here's
Did you refresh the page?
If you hate me, donate a lot. If you love me, donate a little. That is the metric.
And if you really don't like Pete, donate and say in the comments, "I'm donating because I don't like Pete. Get him off the show."
My self-esteem can't handle that.
Mine can.
Okay.
It's for a good cause. It's for good.
So if you are interested at all at donating, this is not going to us. This is going entirely to Toys for Tots. You can head over to toys.wdwnt.com, which will redirect you over to our CrowdRise campaign, where you can donate there. Again, like I just said, we don't touch the money here. We're not putting any of this in our pocket. Every dollar that you give is going straight to charity. You can also give through PayPal. Send it to paypal@wdwnt.com. Or through YouTube's super chat feature. You can chip in a bit of money there to have a message appear very large, and we will make sure that we get all of that money passed along to Toys for Tots as well. So if either of those methods are more convenient for you, feel free to use them, and know that we're not taking a cut of any of that. Toys for Tots has been around for quite some time. Disney originally had his animators create the train logo that is still in use today. This is our 10th annual marathon show. We've raised over $42,000 over these past 10 years for Toys for Tots, and we want to keep it going. We want to break 50. Get us there, folks. Toys.wnt.com. Head on over there, and thank you very much to everybody who has donated and to everybody who will donate. As for us, let me flip back. There we go. If you enjoyed this show and would like to see it in a form that's more centered around the past week in Disney Parks news, Park Center is a show that airs every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, streaming live at wdwntunes.com. We also stream over YouTube over at youtube.com/wdwnt. If you subscribe there and click on the bell, you'll be able to get notifications every time we go live. We also are available in podcast form. If you search for Parks Center, that's Parks Center, wherever fine podcasts are sold, you should be able to find us relatively easily. And I believe that is it. If you are watching this live, we are going to be chilling out for another hour or so. Yeah. So we will be watching the chat, talk with you folks, discussing anything and everything you want to talk, whether it's movies, parks, anything Disney related. We're here for you folks. If you got questions, we'll try and flub our way through some answers.